What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Madden 07 Albuquerque Vipers franchise. And I just wrapped up recording last week's episode, and as you guys saw, somehow this team that finished 11-5 is going to be missing out on postseason play. I am still in shock. I went to look at the wild card round. I was like, oh boy, who are we playing? Because we're hosting, because I thought we had the tiebreaker over San Francisco. It turns out we didn't, and just recapping the schedule real quick, because like I said, I'm still just in shock from that. 2-0 to start off the season. We go on that 4-game losing streak. Then we beat the Seahawks. Cross throws for four touchdowns, double that. He threw for 8, plus he ran for 1 against the Vikings, setting a record. Like, how does this team, which averages like 30 points a game, miss out on the playoffs? That game against the Bears really cost us, but I thought we already had playoffs locked up going into that week. I mean, obviously, I was still trying to win that game. We had a shot at the 2 seed. Heck, if we had won, we probably could have gotten the 2 seed from the Redskins. Instead, we're going to be missing out. Yeah, I could have sworn we had the tiebreaker over San Francisco. I guess since the Bears beat us, obviously that would give them the tiebreaker over us into that wild card spot there, the 5 seed. With New York, I'm not sure what gives them the advantage there. Maybe their divisional record, since they were 5-1 and we finished 4-2, and 4-2 is not even that bad of a divisional record. That's pretty solid right there. Somehow a team that was on like an 8-game winning streak. No, we were more than that, because we were 2-4. Unbelievable, man. Wow. You can't turn the ball over a combined 12 times in back-to-back games and expect to be great. All right, I guess this is the season recap video, so let's recap it real quick. Looking at the stats around the league, you have Cross, Rodgers, Roethlisberger, McGuire, and Ken Dorsey. You have the top 5 QBRs in the league. Yards goes to Cross by 1,000 yards. More than Aaron Rodgers, 4,500 yards, which this was a career season for him, even with the 8 interceptions he threw in the last 2 games. I mean, 45, almost 4,600 yards, 38 touchdowns is a career high for him, just looking at all his past season stuff, and 18 picks. That is the highest he's had in a long time. That was sitting at 10 for a while, but still a very impressive season by Cross. Rodgers with 32 touchdowns, Omar McGuire, Dorsey, who somehow managed to fill in for Rodgers just fine in Green Bay, Andrew Hester for the Broncos, 22 touchdowns. Roethlisberger had the least amount of picks, but he also was hurt for like a good chunk of the season. Jared Williams threw 8, Malone threw 9. A lot of these guys were either hurts or they're like backups that only played for part of the season. Most interceptions goes to Jim Middleton. I'm not surprised there. Wow, Rick Haley, 5 touchdowns, 23 interceptions. That is not good. That is like the last year Ray Dawkins had with the Chiefs, kind of bad. Looking at the running backs, almost 2,000 yards for John Martin. Dexter Thompson behind him. Michael Brown, the other rookie running back. Jason Crawford there. And then Tracy Smelly, who went off against us. John Martin also had the most rushing touchdowns in the league. Our boy Jake Gordon didn't quite break the century mark, but he did have 12 rushing touchdowns. Alex Smith, 103 receptions for the former Viper, 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. Ray Glenn was the only other guy to get past the century mark in receptions. Braylon Edwards got close, so did Leonard Pope and Scott Young. When it comes to 1,000-yard receivers, there's our boy Larry Fitzgerald, number 1 up there. Behind him is Luke Holt, Ray Glenn, our other guy, Jamarcus Ward, and you got Anquan Bolden. Receiving touchdowns, Luke Holt, number 1, then Lee Evans in his return to Buffalo, Jamarcus Ward, Larry Fitzgerald, and Ray Glenn. And somehow a team that had like 2 top 5 receivers statistically missed the playoffs. All right, looking at offensive line, a bunch of our guys are up there. I think that's kind of just what happens when you're the one using the team. Mo Frazier led the league in tackles by a lot. Nick Barnett behind him, Rick Claiborne, Antonio Jones, Dan Morgan. TFL's 10 for Jesse Baker. A bunch of Vipers up here, top 4, all from Albuquerque. 16 sacks for Julius Peppers. That leads the league. Craig Jackson with 14. Dave Fields also has 14. Antonio Jones. John Abraham. And then when it comes to picks, Maurice Sanders, second-year corner for the Raiders. I don't even know who this guy is. He was a 4th-round pick. 8 interceptions for him. He must have had a bunch of big games. There's our boy Justin Williams with 7 interceptions, one of many there. So there were a lot of ball hawks this season. I want to take a look at forced fumbles. Antrell Wilson, our former guy, forced 5. Most defensive touchdowns. There's a handful of guys there with 2 each. Kicking, obviously, our guy, Automatic Brian Koch. And that's pretty much it for stuff around the league. I guess we can look at kick returns. Panthers didn't have much go right for them this season, but Harold White did have 2 return touchdowns. Phil Elliott also had 2 punt return touchdowns. And now looking at our season stats, obviously, as we saw, Cross had a career season for him. Dijon Beasley, in my eyes, is like the perfect backup to have on here, where he's not too good like Ray Dawkins, but he's also not like a terrible quarterback, and we can survive with him in the game. Cross was sacked 39 times. I mean, he was definitely not the most sacked quarterback in the league. I actually want to take a look at that. As let's see, what's the most? 50, 49, 48. So 39 is not great, but it's not terrible either. Almost 1,000 yards for Jake Gordon. He definitely got better as the season went on. Cross with 6 rushing touchdowns and over 200 rushing yards. Ron White with 3 touchdowns, 82 yards. How many fumbles? 2. And they both were very costly in that last game of the season. Larry Fitzgerald had a great season, as we saw. 11 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, 85 receptions, 50 catches for Jamarcus Ward, 1,200 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Compare that to what he's done earlier in his career, and he basically doubled everything, if not more. Vaughan Lewis, 600 yards, 5 touchdowns for the big tight end. Jake Gordon proved to be a receiving threat. I've always really liked Trey Francis, the backup tight end, and he had another good season. Charles Phillips would have had a great follow-up season to last year if he hadn't missed half of the year with injury. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns for Mathis. Alan Graham made some solid receptions as well. John Mullen had that touchdown against the Falcons. Offensive line, we did have both of our tackles give up 10 sacks, which isn't great, but the interior did good, and honestly, like, Hand and Williams are both like in the 90 overalls when it comes to ratings and whatnot, so we're not going to get a whole lot better than them. Defensively, John Kelly led us in tackles. TFL's 10 for Jesse Baker, 8 for Quaim Holtz, 7 for Javon Anthony. When it comes to sacks, there were 12 for Bernard Bailey and 10 for Richard Hutchinson. Notice how Daryl Finn is all the way down here. He had 4, 3 of those coming in the last game of the season. It'll be interesting to see what his future is on the team. But yeah, I like seeing us, especially in the middle of the defensive line, they're getting to the QB. Jesse Baker, only 8 sacks, which, you know, he was a lot more productive in Washington, but also that's a whole lot better than what he did last year. Justin Williams, of course, we saw his 7 picks, 4 for Gordon, Manning, and Kelly, 2 for Holt, 1 for Sykes. Hutchinson, the big boy, had 1, and Darius Mack. Catches allowed, Darren Gordon and Justin Williams both allowing over 40, but they are the main cornerbacks on the squad. 2 forced fumbles for Kelly and Cleveland. Only 3 fumble recoveries as a team. And let's see, 3 defensive touchdowns. We saw Koch, perfect kicking, 26 for 26 on field goals, 66 for 66 on PATs. Rodney Williams, he's been a solid punter his entire time here in Albuquerque, and as long as he doesn't retire, we'll keep him around. Jerome Mathis, no kick return touchdowns, but he did have 1,600 yards on there. Only 65 yards on punt returns, but he only returned 13 of them so far this season. And then Orlando Cross, 175 first downs for him. A stat that we don't really look at that much, but he did have quite a few. The Steelers go 13-3. They get the 2 seed in the AFC. The Browns on the outside looking in at 9-7. The Bengals and Ravens, 2 of the worst teams in the league, although the Ravens' only 2 wins came against us and the Steelers, so they beat some real tough opponents. Indianapolis finishes 14-2. I'd imagine they're the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Houston gets a wild card spot. Tennessee just barely misses out on it, and Jacksonville finishes 2-14. The Patriots go 11-5. They take the East. New York also 11-5. They're right behind them at a wild card spot. The Bills 7-9 and the Dolphins 3-13. The Raiders win by half a game in that division, 8-7-1 over the 8-8 Chargers. Denver and KC going 6-10. To the NFC side of things, the Packers go 13-3, Bears 11-5, Lions go 10-6, and they're gonna miss out on the playoffs. One of the best years they've had, just in general, really, as the Lions franchise. And then the Vikings, they're just lucky they got in the win column. 1-14-1, they'll be picking first. The Falcons go 10-6 and win this division pretty easily. We'll see how they do in the postseason. The Redskins go 12-4. The Giants, a win behind them. They get a wild card spot. Cowboys finish at 500. Eagles go 4-12. And then finally in our division, after like 10 years of being one of the worst teams in the league, the Niners have finally made a playoff push, and it cost us our spot. The Seahawks, they kind of fell off this season after making a postseason run a season ago. I'm saying season a lot. And then you have the Cardinals going 6-10 as well. Hey, despite missing the playoffs, Orlando Cross has his career best year, and MVP number 3 is headed his way. Rodgers is going to finish second for the second time in his career, as he is still without an MVP. Former teammate of his, Dexter Thompson, finishes third, John Martin in fourth, and Antonio Jones, the linebacker, in fifth. Cross will also take home Offensive Player of the Year ahead of Thompson, Martin, Rodgers, and Michael Brown, the rookie running back for Kansas City. Antonio Jones, obviously, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. If he was on that MVP list, you know he's taking home Defensive Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year is going to go to Michael Brown. Did we take the wrong running back at third overall? We had a chance to get Brown. We went with Gordon instead. Gordon does finish second in the voting for that, though. You got a couple of quarterbacks, and then Austin Dwight for Kansas City is in fifth. Earl Claybrooks for the Seahawks. He had 3 interceptions, 11 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries. That's a pretty good rookie season for him. The Bengals had a couple of linebackers there. The Vikings, and then Justin Williams, our guy, he finishes 5th. Obviously, best quarterback's going to go to the MVP. Then you got Rodgers, McGuire, Dorsey, and Flowers. Best running back goes to Thompson. Then you got John Martin, Michael Brown, Jake Gordon actually finishing on that despite not breaking the 1,000-yard mark. And then the Jets have a running back up there. Luke Holt gets best wide receiver ahead of Larry Fitzgerald and Jamarcus Ward. And Quan Bolden and Lee Evans are also on that list. Maurice Williams, despite giving up 10 sacks, is going to win the Best Offensive Lineman award ahead of our own guy there, Joey Hand. Campbell, who's actually a former Viper guard. You got Jason Peters for Cleveland, and then Bobby Williams, a right guard for Green Bay. Julius Peppers, best defensive lineman. He did lead the league in sacks. And Terrell Wilson, our old player there, he gets second. His teammate John Abraham is going to finish in third. Robert Mathis, a former Bear, is going to finish in fifth. Obviously, Jones is going to win best linebacker ahead of Nick Barnett. You got Knight, Rhodes, McKenzie. Best DB is going to go to James Brooks, strong safety for the Colts. You have a couple of Patriots safeties. The Jets have a guy up there, and then Josh Devine for the Falcons. And then our guy Koch is going to win best kicker ahead of all these other kickers. Best coach, Ron Rivera of the Indianapolis Colts. Of course, he put together a super team, and they really played like it. Orlando Cross was the number 1 guy voted to the Pro Bowl, maybe just in general, but at least for quarterbacks. Looking for other Vipers here. Ron White, he made it. I think that's his second Pro Bowl, I want to say. Let's check real quick. Apparently this is his, no, because it's like 2015. That is his second. Fitzgerald, he made it. Jamarcus Ward going to his first Pro Bowl. Any other guys up here? Joey Hand, he's going to make it. Maurice Williams makes it. That makes sense if they were the top 2 offensive linemen. Joseph Santiago is going to be a Pro Bowler. Basically, our entire offensive line looks like they're here. To the defensive side of things now, Bernard Bailey, well-deserved first Pro Bowl for him. Is it his first Pro Bowl? I need to check him now, too. No, he actually made it back in 2008 with Denver. Now on the NFC side of things, Justin Williams with his 7 picks, he's going to make it, but no Gordon. And then no one on special teams for us either. In the wild card round, the Patriots blow out the Texans 45-20. Makes sense as Eli Manning was out for the entire year for Houston. Meanwhile, Alex Malone back for New England from injury. He played really good, 300 yards, 5 touchdowns for him. Meanwhile, Donnie Jones for Houston, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, as it looks like the third string quarterback had to come in for the Texans. 3 touchdowns, Luke Holt. There's a reason he won the best wide receiver award. The Niners make the playoffs for the first time in this franchise, just to lose. Benji Barton did have a touchdown pass. They got themselves a safety, but not a whole lot going on as they fall by 4 to the Giants. Omar McGuire, I think it's his first playoff action, 300 yards and a touchdown. Barton, he played solid, other than his completion percentage was under 50%. Former Viper Cadillac Williams only had 54 yards on the ground. 2 100-yard receivers for New York as they advance. The Jets get a nice win here. Phillip Rivers with an early touchdown pass, tacking on another one later on, as they were definitely favorites here. Ray Dawkins, no touchdowns, but also no interceptions for him. He didn't run the football at all, though, which is interesting because he's a dual threat quarterback. Jason Ford, a $121 in the loss. And then the Bears went a very low-scoring affair here against the Falcons, who scored a touchdown, but that was it. 3 interceptions from John Owens, 2 from Lance Campbell. The only touchdown on the ground from Cedric Benson, the former Bear, but it's not enough as the Bears kick their way into the divisional round. The Colts are proving to be a super team. They did that in the regular season, and they just blew out the Jets 31-3 in the divisional round. 4 interceptions from Phillip Rivers as opposed to 4 touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers. Reggie Bush had 65 yards. Not a great day on the ground, but I mean, you can't really complain when you win 31-3. No magic for New York going to Lambeau Field this season. Green Bay takes care of business, 24-10. Ken Dorsey with a touchdown and a pick. Same with Omar McGuire. Looks like Dwayne Kent had to come in for Green Bay. He does throw an interception. Dexter Thompson, 108 yards and a touchdown for him. Kent also running for a touchdown. And Green Bay is a game away from the Super Bowl. The Patriots pull off the upset here as Pittsburgh only puts up 3 points. And I think stuff started going wrong for them once they got blown out by us. And I bet you that New England took full advantage of what we exposed, as now the Patriots are a game away from the Super Bowl. Chicago could not kick their way to victory here. 3 more field goals for them, but Washington kicks 2 field goals and Brock Flowers throws a touchdown there. That was pretty much the difference in this game, as they are going to take it by 4. And the Colts dominate New England. Whoever they play in the Super Bowl is going to have to be scared, because they've only given up 9 points so far, just some field goals, as they dominate New York. They dominate New England in an old rivalry here, over 100 yards for Reggie Bush. Man, the Colts look scary. Oh, and Green Bay is going to be going to the Super Bowl as they only let up 3 points against Washington. Ken Dorsey with a touchdown and a pick. You know what this means for the Super Bowl? It's going to be Aaron Rodgers against his old team. You got the team that's 3rd in scoring against the team that's 2nd in scoring. 2nd offense versus the 5th offense. The 6th defense versus the 5th defense. Oh my goodness, this is going to be one for the ages. Or Green Bay is going to get blown out, one or the other. Here is a quick stat checkup on the 2 Super Bowl teams, as we saw Rodgers 32 touchdowns, 13 picks, 3,500 yards, a 66% completion percentage. Reggie Bush just over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's not the MVP that he once was. Anquan Bolden is the #1 receiver with 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Darryl Fulton is a great receiver, 800 yards, 9 touchdowns for him. They also have Ben Watson, Mark Carson. Reggie Bush is a receiving threat, of course. Jordan Gross, former Viper and Panther, plays right tackle. They actually also have Campbell, as we saw earlier, another former offensive lineman. Derek Johnson leads the team in tackles. Looking at sacks, it goes to Charles Grant. Kyle Van Bosch, I believe he's a former Titan, now with the division rival. And Darren Williams has the most interceptions on this team. And on the opposite side, you have Ken Dorsey, who hasn't even really played football in recent years. Look at that. Just a bunch of just not playing since 2009. Comes in to take over for Aaron Rodgers and puts together a Pro Bowl season, 28 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. So was Aaron Rodgers really that good for Green Bay, or is he just a system quarterback? Who knows? Dexter Thompson, 1,700 yards, 15 touchdowns. The Packers definitely have the advantage on the ground. Andre Seymour, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns for him. Kerry Little with 8 touchdowns. Dexter Thompson, a receiving threat. Ike Coleman, John Hitchcock. Green Bay's got some great receiving weapons as well. You cannot sleep on them. They also have a pretty solid offensive line as we take a quick look at it. AJ Hawk, he leads the team in tackles. You have 3 TFLs there for Rivers. Alex Brown leads the team in sacks. Justin Smith and AJ Hawk behind him there. And then when it comes to takeaways, Peyton, 7 interceptions on the season so far. Obviously, there's a reason Green Bay got the 1 seed and that they're in the Super Bowl. So here we are, Houston, Texas, for Super Bowl 51, just a year earlier than a real-life Super Bowl that took place in Houston, that of course being Super Bowl 51. You couldn't write a much better ending to the season. Aaron Rodgers against his old team in the Super Bowl. I think we all knew in the offseason the Colts are going to be something dangerous, and I think they were even better than many predicted. Green Bay, though, surprising a lot of teams as Ken Dorsey able to step in for Aaron Rodgers and the offense not miss a beat. Both these teams have several Super Bowls appearances, both with 1 win. These teams actually met in the season 4 Super Bowl where Indianapolis blew out Green Bay. The Packers start off with the football, but they're not going to do a whole lot with it. Glover gets to Dorsey for the sack, and now it's time for Aaron Rodgers to go against his former team for the first time. His first throw against the Packers is going to be an 8-yard completion. Now on 3rd down, it's a toss play to the right for the former MVP Reggie Bush, and he's going to get them into Packers territory. Now Rodgers off of the play fake. He's got Anquan Bolden on the reception, and that's going to be a quick first down. Rodgers driving back to throw again. He has all day threading the needle there to Bolden yet again. And now Anquan Bolden a little slow to get up as he's grabbing at that right arm, but it's not going to be anything too serious. Meanwhile, they're going to be faced with a 3rd down, toss to the left now for Bush, spinning around in the backfield, and this time he's not going to pick it up, meaning they're going to have to settle for a field goal, but that will give them the early lead. 1st down and 19 for Green Bay after a holding penalty. It's going to put them back at their own 11-yard line. Dorsey letting this one fly for Seymour. Andre Seymour at the 30. A tackle is missed. This is an 89-yard touchdown. How is that for the first touchdown scored against Indianapolis in the playoffs? A big-time touchdown there as Seymour was left one-on-one with the safety, and he just burns him there. Safety misses the tackle, and Green Bay has their first lead of the game. And now Rodgers, he's going to be picked off. That's Rocco Elliott, former Vipers linebacker. He signed with the Packers a few years ago, and he gets himself an interception there. Green Bay trying to take advantage of this good field position, and wide open, it's Dexter Thompson inside of the 15-yard line. He's a great running back, one of the best running backs in the league this season, and he's a receiving threat as well. Now off of the play fake, Dorsey's looking the wrong way, and he's going to get tripped up for the sack. That's going to lead to a 3rd down and long. Quick throw from Dorsey. That's John Hitchcock over the middle. He's going to be well shy of the sticks, and they're going to have to settle for a field goal to make it a 7-point game. Here's Indianapolis back out here on offense, and boy, Reggie Bush got smacked there. No gain on the play. Give it to Bush again. This time he takes it to the left side, makes a man miss, and then Rivers will bring him down, making it 3rd and 1. Once again, it's Bush with the carry, and he gets some open space. Nice blocking on that left side by Campbell, and he gets him out to midfield. Getting pretty run heavy now with Bush. Now he takes it to the right side, picks up a 1st down. 3rd down and 8. Pass to the left is going to be caught, and that's going to be another Indianapolis 1st down. Off the play fake, now Rodgers has a man wide open in the end zone, and he's out of bounds. Darren Fulton should have had an easy touchdown, even with a little bit of an overthrow from Rodgers. Now it's going to be 3rd down, and Rodgers is going down. He's going to be sacked on the play there by Bobby Cannon, and they're going to have to settle for 3 more points. 10-6 early on here. Green Bay playing maybe a little bit better than people had thought they might early on. Indianapolis a little bit of a slow start to this game. Dorsey firing this one downfield, looking for Hitchcock, but the pass is going to be knocked away. He was actually looking for Ike Coleman on that play. And on 3rd down, he's going to be sacked by the linebacker. Indianapolis's defense coming up with a big stop. The Colts are faced with an early 3rd down of their own on the ensuing drive. Incomplete pass. Can Dorsey lead the troops downfield now on a 2-minute drill to help Green Bay extend their lead? If he's making throws like that, definitely. Kerry Little, one of the best tight ends in the league, gets him into Colts territory. Dorsey to throw again, firing this one over the middle. It's going to be caught. That's an Ike Coleman touchdown. What a throw by Dorsey, threading the needle. Man, if you didn't have names and numbers, you'd think that's Aaron Rodgers back there under center for Green Bay. But Aaron Rodgers is under center for Indianapolis, and now he's going to try to get this to be a little bit of a closer score before halftime. Rodgers pump fake and firing this one to the right side. Nice toe drag swag there, picks up 7. Now on 3rd down with under 40 seconds left to go. They're going to run this one with Bush to the left side, and he's going to get out to the 25-yard line. Indianapolis using their second timeout. Just over 30 seconds left to go. Rodgers has all day in the pocket to throw. Fires this one to the left side. He's going to be picked off. That's Luther Rivers. Rivers down the sideline. Rodgers isn't going to catch him. Nobody is. This is going to be a Packers pick 6, and they're going to extend their lead before halftime, 24-6. And to make matters worse for the Colts, Green Bay gets the football to start off the second half, and they could put this game away pretty early. They're going to have to convert this 3rd down, though. Dorsey's going to throw this one. That's going to be caught by Hitchcock. He's going to be about a yard shy of the sticks, and that's going to force a Green Bay punt. All right, Rodgers, time to lead the troops downfield and get them back into this game, or to be picked off again. Calvin Baird on the return, big return there, gets it out to about the 25-yard line. Can Green Bay take full advantage of this? Well, not if they're getting sacked. Indianapolis's defense, obviously, they weren't great early on giving up that big touchdown, but they've also been, they've been doing a better job than the Colts offense has, at least that's for sure. They will just force a field goal here, so good job by the Colts despite the poor field position that Aaron Rodgers' interception gave them. Rodgers back out here on offense now as he's trying to lead this comeback or be picked off yet again. Homeboy, you do not play for Green Bay no more. Ellis with the interception, and that's the 4th interception thrown by Rodgers now? Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Here's a run by Thompson up the middle. Dexter Thompson is going to make it 3rd down and short as we enter the 4th quarter. Thompson on the carry. That's the first 3rd down conversion of the day for Green Bay, believe it or not. And they still out here having a big time lead. There's another 3rd down conversion. Andre Seymour, that's going to put him over the century mark, although after his 89-yard touchdown, that's not too difficult. Down to the goal line, Green Bay's going to be denied, meaning they're going to have to settle for another field goal, and Aaron Rodgers is going to have to lead the Colts on the comeback of all comebacks with under 4 minutes to play. They're down by 24. Nice throw there by Rodgers, throwing his man open there, finding the hole in the zone, getting them into Packers territory. Rodgers throwing this one to the right side, and that's going to get him out just shy of the 30. At the 2-minute warning, here's a 4th down. They need it, and they've got it, but they've got to hurry up if they want any kind of a shot in this one. Rodgers floating this one to the end zone, caught but out of bounds, and Indianapolis is going to have to burn a timeout. Rodgers got hit pretty hard there, and he's going to be out for the remainder of the game, it looks like. Lance Black, backup quarterback, is going to be throwing this one into the end zone and picked off by Willie Ellis. That's his 2nd pick of the game. Now, it doesn't matter who's quarterbacking for Indianapolis. They're going to be throwing interceptions to this Green Bay team. Luther Rivers is going to be the Super Bowl MVP with his pick 6, and nobody expected Green Bay to dominate. Earlier, I said I thought either it would be a close game or an Indianapolis blowout. We saw the way that they treated the Jets and the Patriots, only giving up 9 points there. Who would have thought they gave up 30 and only scored 6? But Green Bay showing Aaron Rodgers, hey, we don't need you. We can still win Super Bowls. They win their 2nd of the series. Indianapolis, another Super Bowl loss for them. We know all about their struggles they had with Peyton Manning in the first 2 Super Bowls here, and now they lose one with Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay now back in Titletown with another Lombardi Trophy, their 5th in franchise history, and they're going to be Super Bowl champions. That's going to be a wrap on today's video. Thank you guys for watching. We got the offseason coming up soon, so if you're excited for that, let me know. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. That's always appreciated. And until next time, this has been Jeffrey, reminding you to stay moist.